3, 2, 1. Go. And now we are live on the camera, right? You know, like those little signs that they come down and they go, ready? Right? And then you're ready to go. Not always. Just having a little fun, guys. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Another week has gone by, guys. I cannot believe this is coming up on Labor Day weekend. It is unbelievable. We are already in September, guys. Crazy, crazy. Well, almost, right? Yeah. It's just unbelievable. I mean, how time really flies. It's crazy. And we're still hot. The other day we had like 101 degrees. It was unbelievable. I have been fighting a headache. It's a heat headache. And I've had it off and on for the last couple of days. And I just, no matter what I do, I can't seem to get rid of it. So bear with me today, guys. I may not be totally thinking clear. I wanted to talk to you about something that I think is very prevalent to a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, especially women entrepreneurs. This is for actually a lot of people, but I feel that for women, this is more of a subject that can really affect us in a lot of ways, and that is trusting yourself. Okay, and I'm trusting myself that I'm drinking a tangerine emergency today. I figured I needed my vitamin C. Maybe it'll help me get rid of this stupid headache. But anyway, trusting ourselves. That is a big one. That is a huge, huge, huge thing for us. Actually, even men too. It goes both ways. But I think women are more have an issue with this because, you know, we naturally tune in to our feelings a bit more. And I think sometimes if we stop trusting ourselves is where we start getting into resistance and we start getting into trouble. And one of the things is whenever we have a moment in our lives where we feel stuck, right? We feel like we're just in this plateau. We just hit this plateau and then we're not going anywhere, right? We're not going up, we're not going down, we're just staying here. We're staying on this plateau, looking over going, wow, man, I really want to be up there and I don't want to go back down there. But you feel stuck. How many times have you felt that way? Like, you know, when you wake up in the morning and all of a sudden you just feel like you just hit the ceiling, right? It's almost like you're in a glass kind of, and you know, you have a cap over the top and you're up here and you can touch the top, but that's all you can do. You can't get past that cap. And a lot of the times that happens, well, it could be a number of reasons, but what I have discovered in my own life, it is because I wasn't trusting who I was. I wasn't trusting me. I was looking for trust on the outside. Okay, I wasn't looking for trust within myself. And I think that's a big thing. If you've ever felt that way, guys, from one time or another, and I still get this, okay? It's not something that you acknowledge and you know about, and all of a sudden it just totally disappears off the face of the earth. I still get this, where I feel like I'm stuck, and I have to sit there and go, okay, why am I feeling stuck? Why am I feeling like I'm on this plateau? Okay, you need to ask yourself the questions. You know, you don't just sit there and go, oh, well, I feel stuck. Oh, well, it could be probably because of this, or I'm tired, or I haven't, or I'm stressed, or this, that, and the other. And those factors can come into play, yes. But you got to dig deeper and find out what is the real reason why maybe you're feeling this way, why you're feeling stuck. And are you trusting yourself? And that's a question that you have to answer honestly. And I know sometimes it feels uncomfortable when we get to that point and we're asking ourselves these questions. And you're going, oh, well, I think I do, but I don't really want to like feel bad about it. So, nah, probably not. No, you don't want to cover it up. Okay, that's the last thing you want to do is cover what you're feeling and cover it up. Know why you're feeling it. Discover why you're feeling it. And once you know and trust yourself, you can start to accelerate from there. Okay, so what do I mean by trusting yourself, right? Because a lot of people, you've probably heard people say this before, especially in the coaching industry. They'll say, oh, well, trust yourself, you know. And you're going, if you never really trusted yourself, you probably really don't know how it feels or how to begin. And that's okay. Because I felt the same way. And, you know, what was funny was when I was a kid, I always would trust myself, because as kids, we don't really think about those kind of things, right? We don't go, oh, as a kid, oh, well, you know, am I trusting myself? How am I feeling about this? We don't, as kids, we don't even think about that. It just happens automatically. We just go out and we have fun and we do the thing, whatever we're doing, and we trust ourselves automatically without having to sit there and consciously think about it. Whereas adults, we have so much crap that's hit us over time, so much disbelief, so many like things that have happened to us as adults, that we begin to question ourselves and we begin to question our trust within ourselves. So how do you go about doing that? And what are some of the things that, and I'm just going to go off of personal experience here. I used to, and there, again, I shouldn't say used to because there are still times I do this. I have challenges sometimes in trusting that I can do something. Trusting that I can do a particular task or do a particular project or something. There are times in my life where I'll be going about going, oh, wow, that's a big project, or that's a big task. I don't know. I don't know if I can do it. I'm not sure, right? And that doubt of not being sure, and that doubt is that you're feeling, and that fear that you're thinking, oh, I don't know if I can do this or not, you know. That is a doubt which causes the lack of trust in yourself. So, like, for me, I go back on this, like, with my book, right? The book that I'm currently doing, and when I approached it, I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I'm not an author. I've never done this before. And I would doubt myself, right? I wasn't putting the trust in myself that it already had it in me. But then when I started doing the book, I started developing that trust, and actually, it was already there. I just had to bring it out. And this can be a number of ways. It just doesn't have to be like a book. It can be, are you trusting yourself to make good decisions in your life? Now that's a big one, because a lot of people have challenges with making good decisions. And sometimes I don't even think we know what a good decision is, right? We go, what does that even mean, right? I know I've had to ask myself that too, am I making this decision? Is it a good decision? Is it the right decision? Or what, maybe I should go back and think about this. Maybe I should hold off. And procrastination sets in. And this is another symptom of not trusting yourself, is you let procrastination come in and go, okay, maybe you're not ready for this. Or, you know what, give it a few more days. Or, do it later. Do something different to take your mind away from it. So procrastination is another form of not trusting yourself. I think it comes in all kinds of forms. It comes within fear, procrastination, doubt, lack of self-confidence, lack of self-esteem. All these issues could be wrapped around the simple thing is not trusting who you are. And sometimes we don't trust who we are. I think, for me personally, guys, I was afraid, to trust myself, because I figured if I trusted myself and I failed, I missed the mark, I didn't live up to what I was supposed to live up to, that I would initially feel worse. So I was afraid to trust myself, because I thought, oh my gosh, what if I fail at this? Or, oh my gosh, what if I just don't get it right? Or, what if this, what if that? I have all these what ifs in my head, which is doubt, fear, And it stopped me in my tracks. It prevented me from moving forward because I had all this lack of trust within my own heart and soul, and therefore I was stuck, right? I stayed stuck because I didn't want to move forward. I didn't want to go back. You know, it's one of those things where you don't want to go back to where you used to be, but all of a sudden you don't want to go forward neither, because you're scared that if you go forward, you're going to fail, and then you don't want to go back there again, you know, back in the past. So we keep ourselves at this little plateau right here, right? We don't go up, we don't go down, we just stay. And then we wonder why we get frustrated, right? Especially women. We wonder why we get aggravated. We wonder why we get on an emotional soapbox, so to speak, about these kind of things, because we're not trusting ourselves, right? I mean, haven't you ever felt that way? And don't be ashamed to raise your hand. I raise my hand. Okay, I'll do it for you guys, for me, because I have done this so many times, and I still find myself from time to time coming back to that moment where I'm not really trusting myself. And the thing is, when we do this, we're not realizing the repercussions. Yeah, I think that's what we're looking for. The ripple effect, there you go, that's a better word. The ripple effect that it's creating in our lives, in our personal life, in our business, in everything that we do, we don't realize it's doing this we're doing this to ourselves, right? And we sit there and want to, like, put blame on something or someone for the lack of moving forward. We'll be like, oh, well, I didn't move forward because this happened, or he or she did this, or that happened because they didn't do it this way, or this was put wrong, it was in the wrong area or wrong direction, or whatever excuse. And that is there to put the blame on something or someone else to get it away from putting the blame on yourself. But guys, you know, a lot of the times when we point fingers at other people, you know, when we point one finger at someone, we're pointing three back at us, automatically. So that's why I always say look inward. And it is the hardest thing that you guys will have to do. And if you followed along, you know, with my other coffee break conversations and other videos that I've done and everything, I always go back to that. That is like the foundation. You will always, always hear me go back to the foundation. And that foundation, oh, and I'm over here, like knocking my mouse all over the crazy. You go to that foundation, the building wall of everything. And that is within yourself. It starts in here first. I don't, you know, a lot of people will tell you, well, you need to do things a specific way, you need to have it this way, you need to do it this way, you need to do it that way. To have a successful business, you need to do this, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way down. Follow everything. And though that is great advice, you do want to follow a plan, and you do want to follow something. But the thing is, if you ignore the foundation, which is you, yourself, your heart, your soul, your whole being, if you ignore that first, you're not going to have a solid foundation. And every time you try to go up a level in your business or in your personal life or maybe in your spiritual life, whatever you're doing, you eventually, yeah, you might get a couple of steps up, but eventually it's going to crumble and you're going to go down. And that is because you didn't build that foundation. You didn't build that structure, that strong structure to start moving. It's like a building, okay? If you try to build, I don't know if you've ever seen a building without a foundation. That'd be the first, but you cannot build a building of any kind without a foundation, without something supporting it.
Unless you want it to fall on your head.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Unless you want it to fall on your head, exactly, or whatever. You know, you've got to have a strong foundation, and once you trust yourself enough to do that and look inward and see the flaws, see all of the points that, your weaknesses, your strong points. When you get to know yourself on a personal, intimate level, once you begin to open yourself up and let that ego kind of slide down, right, so to speak, it's at that point then you can start with building up, leveling up in areas of your life, because you've already built that foundation. You've built a trust within yourself that you can do it, you will do it. Now, are you guaranteed? Are you guaranteed success if you follow that? Well, I don't want to guarantee, we can't guarantee everything in life. There's no surefire 100% fail-proof way to do XYZ. It doesn't matter what you choose in life or where you choose to be. There's never 100% guarantee. And I know that sounds bad for those of you who, but guarantees, you want to be guaranteed to be successful. You want to be guaranteed to be your best.
Are you guaranteed that you're not going to kick or stub your toe on the nearest rock?
I did that the other day. I stubbed my toe on the
are you guaranteed that you're not going to roll out of bed and step on the dog? Come on,
yeah,
guaranteed?
Yeah, well, some people believe that. They think, oh, well, there's a guarantee that if I believe this, I will have such and such and such, right? But the thing is,
if you're looking for a guarantee to believe something, you're not going to be able to believe it.
Right. Right, you can't.
It's like you want a guarantee that if you jump in the water, you're going to be able to breathe air. It's the same difference.
Yeah.
You have to prepare your mind for it.
And you have to
work
at it.
Yeah, and you have to work at it. Okay?
Practice.
If you want to breathe underwater, you need scuba gear, a tank full of air, some training on how to use it without turning yourself into a hot air balloon. Things like that. You have to prepare yourself mentally for it. You can't just say, well, I want to guarantee that it's going to work. Wrong. If you're looking for a guarantee that it's going to work, your mind is not prepared. And if your mind's not prepared, there's no way in HE double hockey sticks it's going to work.
Yeah. It's like I've seen people in business, do that too. Well, back when I was doing MLM and some other things before I started in coaching, people had asked me, well, I want to guarantee that I'm going to make money on this, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but I cannot guarantee that you will or will not make money. That is totally up to you. I can lead you in the right direction. I can show you the stuff to do. I can give you all the steps and all the tools and resources and everything for you to get started.
But if you don't get off your dead butt, you're not going to make money.
It's all up to you individually. I can't make you successful. Just like with the coaching guys, I tell people I can't make them change something. I can't say, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, and you're going to come out on the other end a perfect human being. I don't make those guarantees because, first of all, that's not real, okay? That is not even authentic, and that is not real. And second of all, it's up to you how you take the information and apply it in your life. I can give you all the care and all the support and all the love and all the space to be who you want to be and have the potential to be your better self. I can open that space up for you, but if you're not taking in that space yourself and you're not working on yourself to get that to happen, it ain't gonna mean jack crap. Okay? And that's the same thing with trusting yourself. You can't, there's just no guarantees in life. It just doesn't exist. So first of all, if you've ever thought that way, get that out of your head. Okay? It don't exist.
Well, you can lead a horse to water, okay, but you can't make it drink.
Right,
the only thing you can guarantee on that is you'll end up drowning that horse before it drinks.
And, you'd be doing the same thing? with a human being. Not figuratively drowning, but you guys know what I mean.
Well, mentally
Emotionally yeah.
drowning.
Yeah, it's, yeah.
Not necessarily mentally drowning, but emotionally drowning.
Yeah. And so, there's a lot of factors that come into play with all this. That's why I tell people, work on yourself first. Like, how I built the trust in myself was not easy, let me tell you. Okay? I had once trusted myself to do things, and I always had a bit of a trust within myself, but I kind of got away from that over time, especially when I went on autopilot, and I had all these things happen, and all these challenges come up, and just all this stuff, and I was always looking for an outward solution to solve the problem, right? I wasn't looking for myself to solve the problem. I wasn't looking within me to trust myself that I have already what it takes to solve the problem. I was looking for the outside, around me to do that for me. And that's where we get into big trouble, because if you're in a situation right now, say, and you're in a difficult situation maybe, and you don't know what to do about it, and you're looking for outside, places to solve your problem, but if you're never looking inward, even you can get all the resources in the world to solve your problem. Outwardly, I mean, you can get resources coming in, you can get the steps, everyone can be sending you all this stuff, and if you're not looking for trusting in yourself, it's not going to happen. And if it does, it's probably going to be one of those little temporary fixes that, temporarily you're going to feel, oh, I think I solved the problem. I feel better now because such and such gave me this and I did that and I feel better. And then a little while later, you're back to where you are, stuck again. It's because you just Band-Aided, you just took a Band-Aid and you wrapped it around the wound, right? And put a little bit of triple antibiotic on it and wrapped it up a little bit. Think, oh, well, it'll heal up. Right, you take it off and then there it is again. It's like, it's the same thing. So, and I'm not going to, a lot of times people will say, well, how do I learn to trust myself? And when people say that, it's not one of those answers that I could give you and go, okay, well, in order for you to trust yourself, you need to go do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. In order for you to trust yourself, I can't. That's one of those things I can't literally tell you how to trust yourself. I can open the space for you. I can share those things with you that I've experienced and that I've done to help me trust myself. But you got to find that within you. You have to, what I'm just doing is reflecting this back, reflecting this to you, and you just take that reflection. It's basically you're looking in yourself. I'm just reflecting it to you. So you've got to find your own ways to trust yourself, and maybe start small. Like here, I'll just give you a little bit of an example. If you are like, okay, I'll stick with my book because I've been really into that. So those authors out there, you probably totally know what I'm talking about. But like when I went to my book, if you guys have ever been wanting or desiring to even write a book or an article or anything, and you're sitting there going, I'd love to start, I want to do it, I just so would love to write a book, but, and you get the but involved, right? But, I don't know how. Never wrote a book before. I don't know what to say. I've never done it. Well, I'm not an expert, so people wouldn't take me seriously anyway. Or, why should I write a book? Who's going to read it? So you give all these excuses for yourself, right? That is a very big sign that you don't trust yourself to do it. You just don't trust yourself to do it. And because of that, you will go about life and 10, 15 years will go by, never write a book. But if you take a little section, a paragraph, a title, gathering together a table of contents, little tasks. Write a paragraph. Right? If you're desiring to write a book, write your first paragraph. All it takes, just a paragraph. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be bizarre. It doesn't have to be like life-changing, altering explosion. Just a paragraph. Just write it out. Right there, that little paragraph, if you just write out a paragraph, you just trusted yourself to write that paragraph, didn't you? Right? So you get out your piece of paper, you start writing. You wrote out a paragraph. Before you know it, here's your second paragraph. Before you know it, you've done your first chapter. Before you know it, you're on your second chapter. Before you know it, you're done. Right? That is trusting yourself. So start small. Start small. And you've heard Toby and I talk about this before, of starting small. It doesn't have to be these big, huge, life-changing things that, you hear people talk about. And for some of you who have had those epiphanies and those moments, that's awesome. But the majority of people have not experienced that. So always be willing to trust yourself in a small way. Like for cooking, here's another good example. For those of you who love to cook and bake, okay, it's one of my passions I like to do. This is a really good example. When we lived in our apartment way back when we first got married, I had an electric stove, and I may have mentioned this before, I don't know, it's just a good example though, I think it fits in perfectly. I learned to cook and bake with my mom when I was a kid. Growing up as a teenager, I helped her bake and cook some stuff, and I loved it. So I kind of considered myself already a good baker and already kind of a good cook based on, following my mom's examples. And I thought, okay, and I got married and I thought, oh great, I know all the stuff, I'd be able to do all these things. And I started off learning on a gas stove, okay? And when we got married, the apartment that we lived in was an electric stove, electric oven. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I could do this, right? Everything I tried to cook, I burnt, or I undercooked, or I tried to bake a cake once and it just blew up. I mean, everything I tried to make that I knew I was good at. I had that trust in myself at a very young age because I knew I could do it. I've done it a bunch of times before, come out with really good things for the most part. A few mistakes over time, but overall I thought I was pretty good. And then when I got married and started doing all this stuff in the apartment on an electric stove and oven, my cooking literally and baking went to crap. I mean, I could burn water. That's how bad it was. And I was like, oh, what the? It's because I didn't know how to transition from cooking with gas to cooking with electric. So what happened is when I trusted myself to do all this, I sort of kind of lost that trust when I started cooking and baking on an electric oven and stove. I lost the trust within myself, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I guess I just lost it. I can't cook, I can't bake, whatever. And so we ended up getting more processed foods, and we ended up getting more microwavable stuff, which really isn't good for you. We ate all. And I had my husband cook most of the time because he was able to fortunately, he was able to do that pretty very well on the stove like that. But then, fast forwarding a little bit, when we moved into our house, I had requested that they have a gas oven and stove because they were going to put in electric. And I'm like, oh no! You guys are going to put. I don't care I will pay the extra. I don't care how much it costs. Get me a gas oven and stove. I don't care. So they put it in, and it took a little bit of time to kind of make the adjustment back, but when I started cooking on that gas again, my cooking and baking got better. It started to accelerate. Things started tasting better. It wasn't burnt. It wasn't underdone. It wasn't, And then I got my trust levels back. I started trusting in myself again that, hey, I can do this. Yes, I can still do this. And so what happened is my foundation crumbled because I didn't trust myself to work on an electric stove, an electric oven. But then when I went back and went back to gas, I was able to rebuild that. But what the funny thing was, and I'll tell you this, I had the trust in me all along. It's just because I had messed up so much food, right, over those years in the couple years we were in the apartment, that I let the foundation crumble underneath me, and I was afraid, right? I was scared, and I was afraid, so I stayed on this little plateau going, okay, I'm not going to cook, I'm afraid to do this. And then my husband would take over the cooking, and I did some, but, I was afraid, so I didn't move forward. And that's the point that, the point of that is that's the same kind of thing. It can be applied to different areas of your life. That if you're afraid to do something and you don't have that trust in yourself, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to happen. Now, the funny thing, and I'll finish up with this story, the funny thing about it is a few years went by, and later down the road I ended up going on a trip with my dad to see his brother. And they had an electric stove and an oven, and because he wasn't doing good. My uncle at the time was very sick and he wasn't doing well. And we went to visit them for a few days. And they wanted me to make eggs for him. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I went over into the kitchen and I just stopped and I'm going, oh crap. Because I seen an electric stove, those little things with the spirals on the top. I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. I can't do this. Oh, I'm going to burn the eggs. And I thought, wait, no. I have trust. I trust myself that I can do this. Just take it slow, take my time. And I whipped up the eggs, threw them in the pan, turned it up a little bit, started to, how they get that curdle or whatever when you do scrambled eggs. Did that, turned it off real quick and got it off the stovetop. And then I just finished scrambling them on the thing. They come out perfect. Just like I just did it on the gas. Because I trusted myself. I finally trusted myself that I could do that. I could cook on an electric stove. And I did. So that's what I mean, guys. And I know that's a bit of a long story, but I thought that was a really good example about thinking of the ways that you trust yourself to do things, and then think about the times you don't really trust yourself, and why are you not? And the best thing to get, the best advice that I could give to you guys would be when you're at that moment in time, you're feeling stuck in your life, and you're not trusting yourself, do it anyway. Take a leap of faith. Take the leap. Take the fear and all the stuff. Know that it's there, but sit there and go, you know what? I'm going to do this anyway. I'm not going to let it stop me. I don't care about you, fear. I don't care about you, doubt. I don't care. I am going to try it and do it anyway. If I fail, so freaking what? Right? Get up and do it again. If you keep practicing that and it's like practice. That's all it is practice. All it is practice, guys. It's like practicing for a sports event or practicing like in gymnastics. It's just practice. And if you look at it as just that, and you're practicing trusting yourself, little by little by little, the more you succeed in little things add up to really big stuff at the end. And if you can start trusting yourself in those little areas, be it very small or very big, and anything in between, your trust levels within your own heart and soul is going to start rising, and you're going to start feeling more self-confident. You're going to start feeling better self-esteem. you're going to start feeling less stress, more happy, more satisfaction. It will totally start to change your life and it's like a ripple effect. Okay, you may not see it right away, but it's there. I promise you, it is there. So guys, I hope that that's been helpful to you. I know I've had I've had some serious challenges in this area of trusting myself. And I know there's a lot of other people that have that same problem. I have talked to other women that have the same problem. And guys too, you know, I'm not ruling out guys here because they have the same issues as women. It's just sometimes women take it a little differently. We take it on a little differently than, you know, maybe from a man's perspective. And that's okay. I mean, we're human. That's perfectly fine, right? But yeah, just be looking, guys, to just start thinking about trusting who you are. And once you do that, you will start to find a lot of areas in your life just starting to kind of click together. I mean, it's like a puzzle. You start in one area, and before you know it, you've got this big area of puzzle that you've completed without really even realizing it. And that's the same way this works with trusting yourself. If I didn't trust myself, guys, to write my book, I would still to this day be sitting there going, wow, I wish I could write my book. And I mean, I'm still working on it. It's kind of a slow progress right now because I've got other things going on in my life, but I'm still doing it. I'm still going after it, and I'm still looking at, you know, getting it completed, of course. Because I've now trusted myself that I can do it. And I know you guys can do too. You guys can, whatever you put your mind to, if you trust your heart and soul, you'll be able to do what you want to do too. Okay? Alright guys, well I'm going to close out for now. I hope this has been helpful once again. And again, do you have anything else that you want to add before we close?
Nah.
Nah, okay. Alright guys, well have a blessed day. Have a really good Labor Day weekend. Whatever you guys are doing, hope you guys are going out and having some fun. There's camping, people are doing barbecues, all kinds of fun stuff. So get out there and have a bit of fun. And take care, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.